Welcome to the Gray Area. The Gray Area Media. We've obligated ourselves to be the voice for all communities, speaking on topics that include community, religion, education, politics, technology, sports, health, and wellness. The Gray Area Media is a platform created by longtime friends for the sole purpose of providing our communities with the ability to voice current, past, and modern-day issues. The Gray Area, in its naming significance, solely speaks to the area in which people shy away from speaking because of media-based constraints or contractual-based obligations. Well, I'm here to tell you, we don't do that here. So please, stay tuned in. We're going to go live in a few minutes. Don't forget, please add us as a friend on Facebook so that you can follow our live feed. And not only that, please add us on Twitter and Instagram at The Gray Area Media. Please visit our website at www.thegrayareamedialive.com. Thank you. Hello, Facebook. We are live right now, coming back to you with some friends of mine, man. You know, I've been knowing these guys for a long time, so it was only right to bring them on and showing some love because they've been doing their thing, really building businesses and branding in the background. You know, these guys don't want a lot of shine, but they are a real businessmen and know what they're doing. So we're going to have them talk to y'all live today. It's your boy, Ray E.
P. Wills is in the building. What's happening?
My man, DjCash.
Yes, sir.
What's up, man?
In the building.
Damont Nickson.
Damont the Mogul.
There it is.
That's my Hollywood name.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
So, man, look, hold on, man. Let me address something real quick, man. Every time I get on Facebook, man, you're in a different city, man. What's going on? You get around like that?
I just manage quite a few people now, and you know, a lot of people travel, so I try to support them, the stuff they have going on. So when DjCash leaves town, I try to support him. Then we have other people on our roster that I try to support, so normally requires me traveling a lot.
That's awesome, man. That's
How did you two, link up? Go ahead, man.
Hold on. Let me start with Cash real quick, man.
What's up?
Trill Tight DJs.
Right.
Okay. That when you first came on the scene, I remember seeing a business card. I'm like, man, Trill Tight DJs. Okay. You know what I'm saying? I really didn't know what y'all was doing in the background, but over the next 3 to 4 years, I mean, I was traveling in and out of town, but as I came back in town and started like hearing the radio and in the clubs, and all I was hearing was Trill Tight.
Taking over.
Y'all was moving around.
Yeah, we was
How did y'all
moving
get started, man?
Well, it was we actually got started in high school. It was just we started off doing parties.
Okay, so it was like you and a couple other people?
A couple other people, yeah.
Okay.
Some friends from high school. And,
okay.
We originally wasn't DJs at first, so we just tried to capitalize on all avenues. So then we end up starting learning how to DJ our own parties.
Okay.
So
self-taught DJ.
So it used to be just Trill Tight Entertainment.
Okay.
So then once we learned how to DJs, we took it to Trill Tight.
Took it to the next level.
Yeah. So,
well, that's what's up, man. So like, who taught you how to DJ? You just
we actually taught ourselves, man. It took me like 2 weeks to put one song together. And
yeah.
Like
and it was magic after that.
I mean, you get help along the way from people that you know that know how to do it, but actually, we taught ourselves. Yeah.
Right. So I mean, and you got was it just a couple of y'all, or was it a
at
big
one point
group?
in time it was at least like 12. It was
12
DJs
y'all
on the roster.
Yeah, a lot of those people still around today.
Yeah,
hanging out.
DJ Champ was one of them.
DJ Champ.
He's Gucci
Shout out
DJ,
to DJ Champ.
Shout out to Champ.
Yeah. DJ
okay.
Champ,
that's what's up. And he's moving around doing his own thing now.
Yeah, he's doing real good.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Yeah. That's awesome, man. So, I mean, you hoop. You know what I'm saying? We got to bring that into the spotlight. You know what I'm saying? And he gets down. DjCash gets down. So the club scene, like, this is not something that happened overnight. You've been doing this for a long time because I think the stigma when people see, you know, what you're doing and the level that you're on, they automatically like, man, who is this dude? I can spin too. So, you know, let the people know, like, you know, how long this took you to develop your craft and, like, you know, did it take time? You know, how much? It didn't just move fast. You had to work on it.
It definitely took time, man. I've been doing this about 10 years now. So, you know what I mean? I treat it like a job. See, people don't understand, like, I DJ, but I'm a promoter too. So, like, I go out every night.
Okay.
I feel like that's my job. Like, I have to go out. I have to network. I have to meet people. Like, if you're sitting at home, you can't meet nobody. You know what I mean? I guess on social media, but that don't really count. I got, like, a personal relationship with people. So, that's how most of my events are usually successful because it's more personal versus just me talking to them on internet.
Sure.
You know what
yeah,
I mean?
For sure. That's big, man.
Yeah, I've been doing it for a while, man. It's been a long grind, and it's finally starting to
Finally starting to see, there it is. And nothing,
man, that's good, man.
Nothing starts off right off the bat. You have to work on your craft. You know what I'm saying? You got to get in the gym like you're hooping. You know what I'm saying? That shot don't come easy. You got to keep working on that shot.
And when I first started DJing, I really wasn't in love with music. It was more in love with the perks of DJing.
Oh, okay,
you know
nice.
what I mean?
Yeah,
so over the last couple years, I developed the love for music too.
You developed a love for it.
And I can tell how much better I am now since I actually love music and I study music. And
now it's a passion.
Now it's a passion.
There it
That's
is.
good, bro. Hey, look, I remember a long time ago, man, at the church, Mike, playing ball. I mean, you told me that you wanted to start DJing. I mean, I think you was like a junior or something, a senior, like a long time ago.
Probably like a senior in high school.
Yeah.
That's when I kind of start figuring it out. Yeah.
Yeah, man. You had the braids and everything. Yeah, It's a long time ago, man. But I mean, man, to see, man, your whole movement, man. Dog, hey, look, it's a beautiful thing, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
Give a lot of, I get a lot of love, man. But I give a lot of love back, though. You know what I mean? So
right.
I support
Two-way
people
street.
and come to their stuff too. So
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah, man. So how did y'all, link up, man?
I don't know if we had the same story, but my story is that he reached out to me several times or a few times and was like, man, I need a manager. You know, we never did really take it serious because at that time I wasn't managing anybody. I was just doing events in LA.
Okay.
And I had a couple of other companies going on. So I was in the club one time in Indianapolis. It was around November. And I had went up to the DJ booth to say what's up to him. He's like, man, I need a manager. We need to get together. And I was like, okay, well, at that time I had started really getting in tune with my purpose and why I was created and what I really wanted to do. It wasn't necessarily just to make money or just to be in the entertainment industry. I really wanted to be make a positive contribution to somebody's life to help them to get to their dream.
Nice.
So we ended up meeting for breakfast, and we had a conversation. You know, I'm from Indianapolis as well. I'm not always the most liked person, whereas he is. You know, so
We'll talk about that later.
We'll talk about that later. So we sat down and we talked about some things, and I told him, I was very transparent with him in some of the things that I have done and some of the things that I'm not proud of and all of those things, so we put everything on the table, and pretty much we partnered at that point, and then now here we are. So
Dope, man.
Oh, that's dope, man. Well, let's get your backstory real quick because you from, both of y'all from here, but you from here too, and you come here a lot to show love back to the city and your families and people here. And I noticed that you're not one of those people that go away, stay away. You come back like almost like every month, even though you live in other cities.
I get homesick quite a bit.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So tell us the backstory on how you guys, let's just give people. Let's start from the beginning.
I don't know if we want to start all the way from the
Yeah,
beginning.
let's start from the beginning. Because
what do we want to talk about?
Let's go all the way back to when you decided you wanted to be an entrepreneur.
I was kind of forced to be an entrepreneur. I think I've always had it in me, but I made some bad mistakes in my teenage years, which caused me to get into some trouble. After I got out of the trouble, I was kind of forced to my family was in real estate at the time, and I was kind of they embraced me and taught me how to flip houses and taught me another way of life. So I kind of learned how to do it, but if I hadn't have been in that position, maybe I would be doing something else. I don't know, but that's pretty much how I got into being an entrepreneur.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, what age was that?
I was 20 years old.
And you haven't worked for anybody since?
I've never had a job.
Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah, so
I can remember when I was 20 and I was like, I was going to be homeless if I didn't work. I wasn't trying to risk it. Yeah. I mean, so that's a big deal, man, for you to get started at that young.
Haven't always made money the right way, but I've never
You
had
figured
a job.
it out. Right. You figured it out. I mean, it's a long road to being an entrepreneur. I don't think people understand that it's a huge sacrifice. And you
I think it's trial and error.
It's trial and error.
I think that's what I've learned the most I've learned the most working with DjCash than I have in any other area of my life.
Why is that?
Because it's been a lot of doors closed.
Okay.
And I think that you learn the most when doors are closed.
Closing,
That's what
right.
motivated us
Right.
to make have a presence in Vegas. That's what motivated us
Okay.
to be so diligent in getting him out to LA to DJ. That's what motivated us to look at his brand and figure out, okay, his name is DjCash, but we don't want people to associate him with urban.
Okay.
Urban.
You want him to be global. Global.
Yeah, so
Right.
so we spent a lot of time reevaluating his brand and his logo and his colors and the pictures that he puts out and his website and all of those
All
things.
of that's important when it comes to
And then
marketing.
he had to come back to the table. He had to come back to the table as a DJ and reevaluate the music that he learned.
Okay.
And then, so he started having to learn, different genres of music and having to figure out what type of demographics to play those under. So it took a lot of research and studying on his behalf as well.
Right.
So it's just a process that you continue to grow, and sometimes you grow outside of what you're accustomed to,
Right.
but you're going into something that's bigger and better.
Right.
So,
Right. So it seemed to be rough going into a different genre because you real estate entrepreneur, you've been kind of solo with it, and now you managing a DJ. That's a big deal. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, you got to do a lot of research and try and figure out but you learning as well.
Well, in management, that's the reason why I was so scared of it. Is because if I fail, if I'm flipping the house and it doesn't make as much money that I thought it was gonna make, then that's okay. If I do an event and that many people don't come to it as I thought it was gonna come, that was gonna come to it,
Right.
then that's okay. But when you partner with somebody on their career and they trust you with their career and their life and their personal life and their family life. Like he has kids, so
That's pretty serious.
When you trust somebody with that, you're pretty much trusting them with everything you have.
Right.
So for a long time, I didn't want to be responsible for somebody else not getting to where they envision themselves in being, because that's what they rely on their manager to do. Is to motivate them, is to push them, is to study, is to encourage them when they are ready to give up. So he prepared me to be a better manager, and he prepared me to be where I am now. Yeah.
Right.
So
well, let's talk about that for a minute, because I think people get management confused when it comes to artistry. Right. It doesn't matter what you're in, whether it's sports or, a lot of people feel entitled when they get a manager like, hey, you should do everything now.
Right.
And really it should be right. It should be a relationship, right? Yeah. And the artist should do just as much as the manager, if not more, because it's their brand. The manager's job is to orchestrate behind the scenes and make sure that you get where you need to get to.
yeah, and a manager is not always. People get it confused. Some people. That's why I don't manage everybody that asks me to manage them.
Right.
But most people think that a manager is pretty much an investor, and a manager could just make stuff happen out of nothing.
Yeah.
Whereas I've learned in working with him that a manager pretty much manages what you already have in place. Because if DjCash hadn't built the brand that he had built before I met him, or before we started working together, I've always known him and known about him.
For sure.
But we could never be where we are now and be where we're going.
Right.
So he put in a lot of work before we even got together.
There it is.
So I manage what he already has in place, and then I help to take that to another dimension.
Right. And see, that's what artists need to do, whether they DJs or music, right? Build your brand, if you got a team of people, that makes it better. You know what I'm saying? So definitely get a team of people,
But all the time you don't have that.
build your own buzz.
I'm not even gonna lie. Like once he started managing me, I did start getting lazy in some areas.
Oh, yeah?
That's when we start having like a conflict at.
Oh, okay.
What areas?
But just doing stuff for myself. Certain stuff that I always did for myself. I was looking for him to do it because he took on that role for a while, and then once he got busy and started managing other people, and I'm like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? So
it's a two-way street.
It's a two-way street, definitely. That was something we learned too. So
Right.
I work just as hard as him as manager. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
it's cool.
And that's good that y'all still have a relationship and still work like that. And then are y'all always in the same city, or y'all always moving around doing different things? How does that work when you're managing somebody and he may be in a different city than you? Is it hard? Is it more difficult?
at the beginning, we thought we had to stay in the same city. That's why I had moved out to LA for a second and then moved to Vegas for a second. But I mean, once you get down on formula, man, he can, you know what I'm saying, we don't have to be in the same city to know to do what we have to do.
Right.
So.
Okay, that's dope, man. Hopefully, people understand a little bit more about the relationship between management and artists, you know, and in the marketing sector. Because I think a lot of people in Indianapolis specifically get that confused. I mean, and it's really not our fault because it's not a lot of people here. It's up to us to do the research, but it's not a lot of people leading that charge.
Right.
So I think it's just more people need to step up and show people how to manage and be, you know what I'm saying? Like, be responsible for that. Like build platforms like this and like really get the information so that people listening can say, okay, that's what I need to do first. And shout out to B Swift and J1 for the radio station for opening up, you know, a lot of different markets and circuits too.
Yeah, definitely.
When they came here, I started seeing a change of DJs on the radio, and I just thought that was awesome.
Yeah, J1, man, he's a dope dude, man.
Yeah,
he the one brought me in. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
B Swift and all them vouch for me.
Right.
But, yeah, man. Ever since he been there, I can tell the difference.
Immediately.
Just people like now just actually stop by the station. Like,
right,
you know,
right.
I think Migos in town tomorrow. They probably just gonna come through the station, and you never seen that from '96.
Right.
So he's definitely bringing some of that stuff that he originally from Atlanta.
Right.
He was on the station down there, and he's bringing all that back here. And
that's awesome, man. Opening it up, man.
Yeah, man.
So let's tell the people about. I mean, people have a hard time branding not only themselves but branding their businesses. I mean, and it's a technique that's used over and over again because it doesn't matter what you're marketing. Marketing is the same. All you're doing is placing people in there and different things, whether it's a business or a person. Marketing is the same. How are y'all successful at getting the word out about your brand or your business? Because people think it's a science to it, but really you guys are just using techniques that are already existing, right?
Yeah, definitely, man. Mine is more of, man, I always got to be seen. Like, I'm always going to be on the scene. So
always be out there.
I always got to be out there. You know what I'm saying? Redundancy. Like, you got to.
The more you out there, the more they see you, the better.
Me. So, you know what I mean? I feel like you said, the more you see me, the more you want to figure out what I got going on. It's like, damn, I always see this dude everywhere. He ain't working, he don't do nothing, but I always see him. You know what I mean? So
has social media helped you? You know, a lot.
It did. It did, but it didn't. You know what I'm saying? So, but I think social media is definitely. It definitely helps a lot of people, but I mean, I'm kind of old school. I was doing it before social media came out. You know what I'm saying? I think it
that's before the big boom.
But,
you know what I'm
saying? But I feel like I could have did it without it.
Right. You still would have been on the same grind.
Right.
And there's a lot of DJs in this city like JF and Ready Rock that was doing it prior to social media too.
Exactly.
So that's an example of somebody that stay on the grind and keep going and still make it. You know what I'm saying? So, but you know, what's your answer?
The motto be like,
well, I think that he says social media hasn't made a impact in his career, but I think it has.
No, I'm not saying it hasn't. I said it enhanced it. I feel like I could.
I feel like it's enhanced. I feel like it has enhanced it as well because people are watching him that he doesn't even know that are watching him. People come up to me and send me messages all the time. They're like, "Man, DjCash is always out of town. Like he's in Atlanta, he's in LA. Like so, people are watching him, and he's very humble. So of course he doesn't recognize certain things, but people are watching him, and that makes a difference, and that encourages other people to want that are DJs or that are in the entertainment industry or that are artists to want to do it. So they always ask me, like, you just got to be everywhere that you need to be, and you, like I tell him, you just always got to be ready because we've been places or out of town, met people, and if he hadn't have been able to have that flexibility with his family and in his career, then there's a lot of platforms we wouldn't have been able to be on, because he's able to do it, whether he was booked or not, he was there. You know, whether he was booked or not, he was in town. You know, for the Grammys or for the awards or whatever. So a lot of people aren't able to do that. So that opened the door for him to have a lot of the relationships that he has now.
Right. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, man. I mean, that's incredible, man. When you're building a business, you know, people get stuck in the financial crunch, right? It's like if they don't have it, then they just automatically stop. You know, what are some of the things that you guys are doing? And I mean, you guys have obviously reached a level where, you know, it becomes less of a problem, less and less of a problem, the bigger, the better you get. But when you're starting out and money is a problem, what do you do? How do you maintain the consistency of branding yourself when there's virtually no funds to do so?
Well, a lot of people don't do stuff because they feel like they can't afford it. I'm the opposite.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, say, for instance, if I want a car, I might not can't afford it, but I'm going to get it anyway, and then I'm going to figure out how to afford it.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
That's motivation after the fact, right?
Exactly, because some people, if you don't do that, then you just going to always be
You always going to want it.
You always going to be, you know what I'm saying? You're going to
Right.
So
yeah,
I never heard it that way.
That's how I look at things.
Because I'm one of them people like, man, I can't afford it. I'm not getting it.
Because you're calculated. You're a calculated person.
Yeah.
I mean,
we're not calculating.
I do the math for a year, and I'm like, that ain't gonna work.
I'm gonna figure it out.
But you motivated by saying, you know what? If I'm not in it, then it's not gonna motivate me to ever do it.
Right.
So you get it, and then you're like, okay, now I got to pay this off. I gotta work.
I gotta figure it out.
Okay, there's a lot of people out there that work like that.
Yeah, push you.
Yeah,
But
I never thought about it like that. That's actually like a mind.
Everybody can't do that because if you don't have if you don't have the determination to push harder, if you don't keep me doing the same
and the
thing
discipline too. I mean, that kind of mindset. I mean, you gotta be disciplined.
That could get tricky because if you can't come up with that money, you got to figure out a way.
See, everybody doesn't have that
you figure out the way.
I mean, so far, I haven't backfired on me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
That's usually how I do things.
Well, that's good, man. That's good, man.
Yeah, man, it is.
That's awesome.
Hey, how you come up, man, with the name DjCash? I mean, I always want to ask you that.
Man,
somebody just asked that question too on Facebook.
When I first started DJing, it was actually my nickname. I mean, everybody called me Mike T at first, so that's what it was. And I never had a nickname growing up.
That's what I remember.
I wanted to come up with something. Right. And I went through like 4 or 5 names. Everybody laughed at me. Meaty, Sauce, he was giving me names.
Shout out to Meaty.
He just recently moved to Texas.
So
man, one day I was just like, man, I'm gonna be DjCash. Everybody's like, nah, don't be that, don't do it. And I was just like, man, that's what I'm gonna be, and I loved it. And ever since then, like, my mom even called me Cash. So that's just like a name. I eventually named my son Cash. My son's name is Cash too.
Oh, nice.
Oh, dope, man.
With a K.
So like as far as branding and not to be too urban, how do you go, and utilize your name, but not be too urban with it?
It's kind of hard, man. You automatically gonna assume DjCash. That's a black guy. He probably plays hip hop. You know what I mean? But I don't know, man. I guess it's more of a once you meet me type thing. You understand that I'm very cultural. You know what I'm saying? I'm not just stuck in the hip hop. A lot of people. I mean, here people think I'm just do hip hop because that's originally where I'm from. Once I go all these other cities, I go out. I might not play a hip hop song the whole night. You know what I'm saying? I mastered the EDM thing because that's where all the money is.
That's big.
Yeah, man.
So EDM is big, especially on the West Coast and Vegas and all those places. You got it. If you don't know EDM, you're not gonna make it as a DJ.
I practice that more than I even practice hip hop because I already got that down.
Yeah, that's actually international. That's like global, for real.
Yeah.
A lot of people here don't know I do it because I don't get that platform here because for the simple fact, if you put my name on a flyer here in Indianapolis,
it's like hip hop.
It's hip hop.
There's a huge retro crowd here that is not being. I mean, like shout out to my man DJ Orion. He takes advantage of that because DJ Orion. I don't know if you know DJ Orion.
Yeah.
He's mega. I mean, he's taking it to new heights. But I definitely think that there's you should start another arena here.
Oh no, definitely, man. That's crazy because me and him talked last night. You know what I mean? And he had sent me one of his mixes that he was doing for radio yesterday because he works for Radio 1 also. So we see each other in the building all the time. And I actually sent him one of my EDM mixes I made a couple months ago, and he was like, "Man, I didn't even know you can do that." You know what I'm saying? So I got like 3 or 4 of them on my SoundCloud that I normally put up or whatever. So
that's what's up, man.
What has been the most difficult genre to mix and
Man, actually, hip hop is harder than all of them to me. You know what I mean?
Why is that?
Because it's you switch songs faster in hip hop. EDM. It's long, you know what I mean? It's a long song. You let it more ride out. Hip hop, man, you constantly switching songs every time.
Make you work.
You constantly switching songs all the time, man. You got a million requests, so I find hip hop harder than any other genre, really. I don't really do country. I do more I do EDM. I do reggae. I do some Latin, and then you know what I mean, of course, hip hop. But
it's
nice, man. Yeah,
nice. You get out to the East Coast much?
That's the only place I really haven't DJ'd at.
Yeah,
West Coast, I'm good out there. A lot of stuff in the Midwest, of course, and South. But I haven't been East Coast yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I heard
maybe that's coming up in management soon.
Yeah, it is different.
Maybe he can work that out soon, man.
Damont.
I mean, and that's great, man. This is all good feedback, man. I hope the listeners are really writing this stuff down and really taking advantage of that. There's another element to business that people disregard in everything, I would like to say, because there's a lot of people I talk to that know nothing about their credit score.
Oh, man.
This is a huge problem in the African American community because essentially a lot of us weren't raised with parents who knew anything about that and they didn't really rely on that. So, as you come up, it's something you run into in your 20s, mid 20s, late 20s, and then you got to figure out like, oh crap, I got to take care of my stuff. What's the problem with that? Why do you think that's such an issue for people?
I think I have this discussion with people all the time. I think the Bible says because we fail because of lack of knowledge, and I think my grandparents contributed to who I am.
Right.
And my grandparents were amazing people, but they believed in cash and carry. So my grandfather, he was a cash and carry person. If he couldn't pay cash for it, he didn't want it.
Okay.
If he would save
a lot of older people are like that.
He would
they
save
keep
for a car.
The bank is in the house.
He didn't want no parts of credit.
Right.
He didn't want to owe no man nothing.
Right.
So that was what he instilled in myself, and that's what he taught. You know, so in my mind, it was like, if I can't pay cash, I don't want it. So you work trying to pay bills and trying to play catch up, and you never really get a lump sum so that you can, invest in what your dream is.
Right.
And in all reality, sometimes you might pay your bills, sometimes you might not.
Right.
And if I got a credit card for $1,000, I thought I was going on a shopping spree.
Right, that's the stigma,
We had
right?
heirs at the time.
Right.
Heirs of one of them stores. So, I think most of the people that come into our program, they are.
What's the name of your program first?
Millionaires Credit Club.
Millionaires Credit Club.
Yeah, so,
okay.
Which is millionairescreditclub.com. But most of the people that come into our program are over 30. So once they get over 30, then that's when they start getting in a position to where they're like, oh, maybe I should maybe I want to buy a house, or maybe I want to be in a better position for my kids.
Right.
So that's when you really start maturing and thinking, that like I need to do something
And that's
different.
usually later on in life, right?
Right. Whereas if I had started in my 20s, I would be a lot more ahead. Or if my parents had started me when I was a teenager, then by the time I turned 21 and graduated out of college, then I'd be in a great position, which we've talked about. So
absolutely.
All of my friends that are parents, I tell them, which is DjCash, yourself, I've had that discussion with a lot of my close friends, is that you need to teach your children the principle of credit.
Absolutely.
And how it can work for you or it can work against you.
Right.
But for a lot of people, it works for them, but we just have to learn,
Right. A lot of and I've ran into a few people like this where they look at like credit and credit cards like the devil. They don't understand the methodology behind using it and flexing
it's discipline.
to work for you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It is a lot of discipline because when somebody
just like eating.
Yeah, when somebody
bread and sweets is my weakness. If you put it in front of me, I'm gonna eat it.
You might eat it, right.
Yeah, so
right.
But there are some people that are disciplined to where you could put that in front of them, and because they're on a path, they're not gonna eat it.
Right.
So it's the same thing with credit. You can have $100,000, and I have people that are in the program, they have $100,000 in credit, and they are not gonna use it because they're disciplined.
Absolutely.
So if they go on a vacation, or they see some shoes they want, or they see a purse they want, they don't get it unless they know they can pay for it.
Right.
Whereas some people, we feel like, we got an extra $100,000 when we really don't.
Yeah. Blow off about $20K and be in debt.
Right.
Absolutely.
Debt. So you're paying interest. So credit can work for you or it can work against you.
Right. Right. And I mean, the important thing about credit, and I want to just reflect on this real quick because I feel like a lot of people miss the mark. And which, like I said, it's all about getting educated, educating yourself, educating your kids. A friend of mine was telling me that he had good credit at like 17, 18 years old. I'm like, how's that possible? Like, you didn't even have any credit to establish. But a lot of people's parents are putting their names on, they'll get a car and then they'll co-sign them as a car. And then they build their credit up by their kids. So you can do this as a parent for your kid. So by the time they're out of high school and into college, they got like 750 credit score and it's on.
Yeah.
Nobody ever told me that, man. I was like kind of pissed off when I heard that. I was like, you can do that? You know what I'm saying? But like I said, it's the more you know. You know what I'm saying?
You know, so now you know.
Right.
Yeah,
so how does someone that doesn't know anything about credit, where do they start? Because a lot of people are like already just now figuring out, probably watching this, figuring out like, dang, I didn't even think about my credit up until today, until he says something. So what can they do to get started on it?
I think that everybody should just get Credit Karma. It's free. You don't need a credit card.
Mm-hmm. Join the Millionaires Club.
Yeah, look at their situation and figure out where they are. If they want to evaluate where they are, they can join the Millionaires Club.
Right.
We evaluate it with every member for free. It's free to join.
Free to join.
Yeah, and
what's some of the perks for joining?
Some of the perks for joining are the events that we do. So they have access to the events that we do. So like last year we did a yacht party in LA.
Okay.
A lot of our members came out to that. This year, we have a empowerment seminar that we're doing.
Men's
in Vegas.
empowerment.
Yeah. So they'll have access to that. They get a credit coach to pretty much coach them through every step of the process. So everybody that works with me in the entertainment industry, include my family.
Right.
So even my family, DjCash, Porter Mayberry.
Yeah.
DJ Shadow Red.
Porter Mayberry of the Dunk Kings.
Dunk Kings.
Right?
He is the Dunk King right now.
Dunk King. Okay.
So everybody has to go through that program. I won't work with them unless they do, because I think that them being in a better position for their family, not paying double interest rates, being able to buy a house, being able to qualify for certain things, I think that's very important. So I won't even work with them unless they go through the program. So I've spent hours and hours and hours and hours on his credit, just to make sure that when he gets ready to be in a position to buy a house or
get a business,
any of those things, that he's in a good position. So it's not just I'm just managing his career, just trying to make him a superstar. Like I really want his total life to be whole.
Right.
Yeah. And I think that credit is a major part of that. A lot of artists are sitting around waiting for an investor when all they have to do is get their credit together and they can invest in themselves.
You can fund yourself.
Yeah, so exactly. I just helped this guy raise $250,000 through his credit for a movie deal that he just got with Queen Latifah.
Nice.
But he had to bring a percentage to the table.
Right.
So he couldn't have done that if his credit wasn't right.
Right.
Another one of our members, he just qualified for his own McDonald's franchise. He had to be in the 750s in order to get the $1 million loan to get his own McDonald's franchise. So now he has $100,000 in credit. He has a 780, and he has he qualified for his own franchise, which was his dream. He was in the 500 6 months ago.
Wow.
So
6 months.
Yeah, so a lot of people use that as an excuse. I don't have anybody to invest in me. I don't have any money. I never say I don't have any money. Like, if I don't have it, I'll figure out how to get it. But I think that, we have the same ability that all the other developers and investors and people that are branching.
It's an equal playing field.
Yeah,
it's all about
we have a social
there.
security number, and it's up to us how we use that. And it's up to us how we build that. So people try to pull the race car, but I don't think it's a race car. I think it's just a matter of us knowing how to utilize the platform that we have, and paying our bills on time.
That's a huge part of it. Paying bills.
I'm in. My background is in real estate, as we've talked about, and I had a hard money lender that used to lend me money to buy houses. Okay. So I was sitting down with him. He's a billionaire. So I was sitting down with him, and we had a conversation one day, and I asked him, I was like, how did you get to be so successful? Like, how did you get so much money? And he was like, Damont, me and my wife, we got our credit together. We went to the bank. We borrowed a little bit of money. We paid it back. Then we did it again. Then we did it again. Then we did it again. And now we have an unlimited amount of a line of credit.
Yeah. Right.
So we live on lines of credit. We left our money in the bank, and now we use the bank's money to make money. So we use other people's money to make money. And ever since he told me that, then I've been on a mission to teach not just my people, but all people, how you could be successful by using other people's money. But the bank, they don't look at your color. They don't look at how much money that you've made in the past. They don't care how many shoes you have in your closet. They don't care what kind of watch you have. they look at your credit profile and they look at, can you pay your bills? Have you paid your bills? How long have you paid your bills? And can we trust you? Right. So initially, we might not be able to trust you with 100,000. We might be able to just trust you with 10,000. But if you pay that back, we'll give you 20. And if you pay that back, we'll give you 50. So it's a process, and you have to be patient through the process. But to answer your question, the first step is to just figure out where you are. And all of us are not in a good place, but you can't keep using that as an excuse. You just got to figure out what the solution is. You know, but I posted on Facebook the other day, so many people, that's our excuse, because if we don't understand something, we say it's a scam. So it's a scam. Anything that sounds good to be true, and I think that might be cultural. I don't know, but anything that sounds outside of what we can fathom in our mind is a scam. When all you have to do is do the research and figure it out.
That's really all it is.
We have Google now. We have Google now.
You have to be educated.
Yeah, you can educate yourself on credit. It might take some time, but you can do that. You can read about it. You can figure out what works, what doesn't work, what credit cards are good, what you should start with, how do you get your first line. If you don't have credit, how do you get secured credit? Those are all things you could do online. There's no scam involved in that. It's
it's free.
Yeah.
You know, and then I read an article. Actually, I read that today. It's pretty interesting that we're having this topic. But it says that poor people are paying way more than they should be. I mean, basically, when you're poor, you're making yourself even poorer because of the opportunities that you're not utilizing, like your credit, you know, getting yourself together, you know, the percentages, the interest rates and all that. So poor people pay more. So I want poor people to really think about this. If you broke right now, you're paying more for everything. Everything. I mean,
but some of them are okay with that. You know, I've realized that even with some of my close friends, I've realized that even if I tell you, I'm going to show you how to get your credit together, I'm going to sit down with you, I'm going to dedicate time to do it. Some people are okay with paying a 20% interest rate, and he's only paying a 3% interest rate. Some people are okay with not being able to, as the Bible says, build a legacy and build a foundation for your children's children, because we're living for our grandkids, for our family members that come later on down the line. But we won't have nothing to leave them but some shoes that don't nobody want anymore, and some bottles that we buying in the club and we paying triple for it. You know, so I think that, you know, so that's why I'm just really on the like I said, I'm on a mission to travel and to teach people about how to just start with themselves and quit waiting for something to come out of heaven. Like, God has given you all the tools you need. All you have to do is pretty much work with what you have.
Faith without works is dead.
Yeah, you have to build from there. But you know, so many people are waiting on an investor and waiting on this and waiting on that, when pretty much if you just get yourself together, you are your own investor. You believe in yourself more than anybody else will.
Absolutely.
So,
hey man, that's wow, boy,
powerful stuff, man.
Nuggets. I'm telling y'all, I hope y'all writing this stuff down. Credit 101 right there. We got to get back to educating our people, and I mean other people as well. It's not just our people, but our people are suffering the most because we're a little bit behind in certain things. So, you know, y'all need to just get it together. What is it? The millionairesclub.com.
It's millionairescreditclub.com.
Start there.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you can get your credit report for free on creditkarma.com. You know, good site. I've used Credit Karma. There's actually so many different free sites out there, but Credit Karma is probably one of the best ones.
Free credit reporter is good too.
Yeah, because they give you like the credit cards that are based on what your credit score is, right? They tell you like you can get this and that.
Yeah, they recommend them.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. But that's incredible. I mean, I can't say that enough. What you guys are doing, you know, in your fields, man, I mean, I just commend you. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I would just like to say that, you know, my ultimate vision, we pretty much had the same vision along the way, but since we're talking about visions and we're talking about going after your dreams and brands and those type of things, when DjCash and I partnered, my ultimate vision for him was to be with an A-list artist and tour around the world. Okay. It was to be on the radio, which he's on Radio 1 right now. He'll have his own show. He'll have his own show soon. Yeah. And for him to be the ultimate businessman, so not just a DJ. which he has carved himself into being now. So he's working on a huge deal. He's working on a huge opportunity, and a lot of the things that I have tried to instill in him are coming into existence now. So being a good businessman, that means when you want to do a business deal, when they say, hey, I want to pull your credit, I want to see, or I want to just see where you are, I want to see your credit. Like, everything ties into credit, which I've been trying to tell them the whole time.
The higher you go in the pendulum, the more they want to know. And then that's one of the stops, right?
Right. So it's not just about having a good time, and people just see, oh, he's just a DJ. No, he's a DJ, but he really controls the whole environment. So wherever he is, but he's also an entrepreneur. So he does other things outside of being a DJ. So those are things that we work on as a team constantly, every day. So when I preach about, when people call me and I'm preaching to them about credit, and I'm on the phone with them for hours and hours talking about credit, I do the same thing to the people that I work with.
Absolutely.
It's the same thing. So, and I get mad with them when they fall and they mess up. I get mad with them when they don't do what they're supposed to do.
As a manager should.
Yeah, as a manager should. Yeah, so I think that,
it's deeper than just being a manager, though.
Right. It's a personal relationship.
I mean, you
want
the best.
You explained that earlier.
That's what I was going to say earlier. Like, when you build your team, you have to be able to trust the people in your team.
Right.
So I think that's why I value our friendship so much. But him trusting me with his career, to me, is major, because if I was an artist, or if I was a DJ, or if I was an actor, or if I was whatever, like, for me to trust somebody with something that I've worked so hard at achieving, like, it takes a lot, and you have to be able to trust that person, because that person represents you when they're not even with you. Like, if I pick up the phone, I'm not just Damont, I'm Damont DjCash's manager, or Damont Porter Mayberry's manager, or Damont DJ Shallow Red's manager. So all of those things play a part in it. So now the things that I would do, I have to be careful, because I'm representing
your name's
their
on
brand.
the line too.
Yeah, I'm well, my name isn't that important. It's that everywhere I go, I represent them. Okay. So I have to be careful as a manager, because I'm representing the people that I manage. Right. Yeah. So I've had to change, like, my activity. Like, so I can't have too many drinks like I used to.
Yeah, your example, man.
I can't. I don't do a lot of that anymore. Right. So it's I have to be careful what I post on Facebook. I can't go off on Facebook. So when you talk about a brand, there are people. I could walk through the mall, and people recognize you, and they say, hey, you my Facebook friend. Well, I don't even know who they are, but they watch you. Right. So you have, when you're building a brand, you have to always just be careful what you post. Yep. Who you deal with, and who you surround yourself with, because everyone is always looking, and that's how you build your brand, one by one. Right. It's a process. Right. I mean, when we first started his social media, his numbers weren't all the way good, and I didn't feel like they were where they were supposed to be. Right. But a few years later, and he's doing exceptionally well on social media. Right. So because he's been consistent, and it wasn't an overnight show. Like, he just was consistent with his posts. He was consistent. He interacts with people. Right. All of those things. So when you start talking about building a brand, I think it's a process, and it's the team that you put in place. Like, they represent you.
Everybody has to play a part, and that's the big problem. I think in Indianapolis, everybody wants to be the man, and I'm not going to say Indianapolis.
I don't deal with any conversation just talking about Indianapolis. Like, I talk about stuff on global
but it happens in every city. Yeah. It happens in every city.
I don't talk about cities. I talk about a global level. Anything I talk about, I talk about a global everywhere.
Because you're saying. Like,
I don't just see Indianapolis.
I
don't just see Indianapolis. Whereas I think many people here do. Right. But I just don't see Indianapolis. So even with him, like, I talk about what we can do on a global level, right? How we can take over, and how we can make an impact in the world, not just Indianapolis. So
what do you have to say to people who and I think people get leadership mixed up with what it's supposed to be and what it's not, because I think when you're a leader, you're building everybody around you, you're making them leaders as well. We have a lot of, and this is going on to the African American community. So we'll just start there, because I really want us to understand what the problem is and have a solution to fix it. And I think that the problem is that we don't understand how to work as a team or what leadership is. What do you say to people who are trying to figure out how to work in a team setting and don't necessarily know, but because everybody wants to be the chief?
The chief. I don't know. I don't really know if you want my opinion on that.
I do want your opinion because there's a lot of people that's trying to figure it out.
Yeah,
Speak.
Do you have an opinion? I have an opinion. I was just looking at, someone sent me a link of a show they were on, and I thought about it, and I was like, I said, what? It's so many of these shows, like, there's so many of these shows, these podcasts and these shows, like,
right.
why all these people just couldn't join together,
right?
And make one big show, and
right.
you just have a major impact. So
right.
if you have a Facebook audience, and I
right.
join with 10 other people that have Facebook audiences,
right.
and now I have 100,000 people,
Absolutely.
But I guess it's because, as you said, it's difficult to work
right.
together. But that's me. I studied millionaires and billionaires for almost a year.
Okay.
And what I learned, the thing that stood out to me about all of them was that when they always sat at the table with people that were smarter than them,
right,
and they recognized that those people were smarter than them,
right,
and when they got to a certain point, they all collaborated and partnered with other companies and other branches to make themselves bigger.
Right.
Not discrediting what they've already built or what they've done,
right,
but they were able to sit at the table and say, hey, right. Ray, I see what you have going on. Maybe if we partner together, we could be huge,
right,
instead of me just being in
right.
my area. So I think that, but it took me a while to get there.
Right.
But
right.
I'm there now.
Right.
And I sit at the table with people realizing that, I have a lot to bring to the table, but I also still have a lot to learn.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
So if I could sit at the table with you,
right.
because you're more seasoned in certain areas,
right.
then I'm open to that.
Right.
And I don't have to be at the forefront of everything, and I
right.
don't have to be the star. Right. I don't want to be the star. So
right. That's leadership skills.
Yeah,
right there. Building the team around you.
A lot of us, to answer your question, a lot of us that want to be leaders, we're not willing to be followers.
Right.
So
they're not humble.
Yeah.
Right.
So I read a quote, and I'm not for sure who said it, but they said in order to be a great leader, you have to be a great follower.
Right.
See, some of us just want to be the boss.
The servant leadership.
And I love being the boss, and I've written the checks for several years, and I've employed people, and
right.
I've helped people, and I've done all of those things. But if it means me coming down and saying I'm gonna be a follower
right.
just so that I can be great, then I'm willing to do that.
There it is.
Yeah.
But I don't know if too many other people that I deal with, if they're in that position.
But see, that's what people need to hear. That's why I was asking you that question. You know what I'm saying?
I see that in other demographics.
Right.
Because when I sit with them, they're okay with not being the boss.
Right.
They're okay
right.
with us just being able to make a check.
Right.
They're okay with us taking over and doing great things and merging and
right.
doing,
right.
other things. But when you sit down, so many people, they just want, I think in their mind, I think social media has created a bunch of monsters because everybody wants to be a star on social media.
Right.
And everybody wants to have their own.
Right.
Instead of me saying, hey, let me just come help you.
Right.
Or instead of me, I might not know how to DJ, but instead of messing up,
right.
me just saying, hey, can you mentor me?
Right.
Instead of, but a lot of us, are a lot of people are in a position where they want to start out on top, and they just want to look, want to look big. So,
right.
Yeah, so I as a businessman, and I think that I deem myself as a good businessman, I've made so many mistakes that have contributed to me being good.
Right.
Because there's some decisions that I made that weren't good.
Right.
But I didn't have a mentor.
Right.
I didn't have anybody to help me through the development process. I just had to learn by trial and error.
Yeah.
Right.
So now I'm in a position where I can teach people what to do and what not to do, and how to get it and how not to get it in, and
right.
what they should do. And I think that I'm in a position now to where people listen to me, and I'm in a position now to where I am willing to sit down at the table with 20 people and we're all doing something different, but we're creating something good.
Right, and that's the beauty of it all.
Man,
that is the beauty of it all right there. You mentioned something about in 2017. Your goal is to get 2017 people credit over 700. Explain that.
Very close to it.
That was pretty close. That was almost.
We close to it.
Yeah.
That was my goal. That's my goal this year, is to just teach people, because I feel like if I could show people how their credit could work for them, then they're not stuck in slavery.
Right.
To where
slavery.
Mind slavery,
right.
To where they feel like they have to work for the rest of their life to pay bills.
Right.
And that's okay, because a lot of people have to work. But
some people are just followers. I mean, and I mean that in a good way.
I deal with
but
this in
they're
my
okay
family.
with that.
I deal with this in my family. Is that how do you get complacent to doing the same thing over and over? But that's just what a lot of them were taught. So that's what they're gonna do.
Yeah, because I think as far as black people, I think a lot of that is just cultural. Yeah. Because we've been brainwashed to vote for a certain party, which in turn makes us more dependent. So you see that in the household, and combined with not having that example, whether, there's not a father there, or everyone that you see is just working, they're working 9 to 5 every day. Like me, my father, he wasn't there. So I never had that example as far as, owning a business. It took for me to be humble, which is another thing that people don't want to do. They want to just be here instead of being humble and want to learn from others. Whether you say that's just in the city or global, but I know with us as black people, man, we have a big problem, with that. But that's something that I had to do. You know what I'm saying? And once I started to do that, I started to learn more, about credit and, owning businesses and, things like that. Yeah. So
that's incredible, man.
Actually, millennials are now have more of an entrepreneur mind than I would say our generation does.
Yeah, I agree. I see it. It's like almost like the 90s all over again, where all these different platforms are coming. This is the time to really jump into business. I mean, if you don't, and to me, and this is just an experience I had, when I started owning businesses like several years back, I realized immediately that even though I still have a 9 to 5, which pays me pretty good, even though I have that, having a business helped me out a lot on taxes. Because I think the government wants to know and wants to see that you're spending the money that you're getting from your job, even though they take money out of taxes. But when you have a business that you're also investing in, that curves the bill a lot. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So now you can write off the things that didn't work out. You know what I'm saying? Like the food that you spent, the money you spent on meeting with people, traveling, doing all these different things. Now you can sell that to the government and say, hey, it didn't work out, just cut me a check or take this, these taxes off my back. Donald Trump does that quite frequently. Anyways, let's talk about some of the things that you guys are doing in 2017. Like what's coming up?
Man, 2017, man, I got a big announcement to make.
Okay. What's that? Let's hear. Right here on the gray area.
I'm not
Let's
entitled to say where and
okay.
But
for sure.
I just recently bought a club.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah. Nice, man.
Congratulations.
Yeah, so
I'll be visiting.
So that's something I'm excited about.
Okay.
We looking to open it. It's gonna actually be.
They
called
got a name yet?
It's gonna be called Icon.
Icon, nice.
Which is an acronym for Indianapolis Choice of Nightlife.
Oh, nice.
You know what I'm saying?
Indianapolis Choice of Nightlife. Y'all put thought into that, man. How long did it take you to come up with that?
Man, we really been something we've been working on for like 3 or 4 years.
Okay.
Me and C-Ho, Corey.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
that's dope.
We actually just finally got the opportunity within the last month or so to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's something we about to be working on.
That's beautiful, man. Is there a release date?
Or
right about round time?
Yeah. I mean.
Come on, y'all can give us the release.
Week, at least like next week.
This is soon.
That's when we're going to say exactly where it's at. I'm not entitled to say exactly where it's at.
Okay. Right, for sure.
But so probably like next week. But
it's gonna
opening,
be the
we trying to open it.
Okay.
Nah, we gonna shut it down and we gonna remodel and do some remodeling
there you
to
go.
it and open it up in like
So y'all looking
for
at
like the end of April.
There you go.
You know
So release in April.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I want to be at that first party.
Then of course, man, still doing the DJ thing. That's my love. You know what I mean? So
where you DJing at now?
Right now, man, I've really been really jumping around a lot as far as different cities. But here, when I'm in the city, I usually do Epic Lounge on Fridays.
Okay.
And then of course I'm always on the radio.
Okay. Epic is up in.
I'm actually on the radio right now, but I pre-recorded and sent it.
Oh, nice. There you go. Well, I appreciate you. You know, people still getting that DjCash mix though.
So, y'all can tune in to Hot 963 right now. I'm on live.
Nice.
Something like that.
That's big time, man. Damont, what's going on in 2017, man? You always got something new up your sleeve, man.
Yeah, I don't really plan, but I do have some short-term goals.
Yeah.
I pretty much am a very spontaneous person.
Yeah.
So I just kind of make things happen. But as far as business, I would like to. I have an app that I'm working on.
Okay. A new app coming out?
Yeah, I sent it to you earlier.
Okay. Yeah. And, that's gonna be pretty dope. Yes, sir.
And I wanted to not focus so much on, because last year we did a lot of events and we did a lot of shows and stuff like that. This year I just really wanted to concentrate on the Empower Men, which is very important to me. Right. Which is
explain the Empower Men, because there's a lot of people listening that don't know what that is.
Yeah, it's an empowerment conference for men, and it's in Las Vegas. So it's a weekend where men come to Las Vegas and they get the tools and they get motivated and they get the resources. A lot of people that I come into contact with, which are men, they feel like that they have dreams and ambitions, and they just don't have the resources, and they don't know how to execute.
You get around other people that's doing it, network.
So I want to bring, I have a lot of those people. I have resources with a lot of like hard money lenders and banks and institutions and those type of people. People that invest in apps and those, a lot of different people. So I want to bring all of those people under one roof and give them access to the men that come out to the conference. We it's in Vegas, so we go party. We go have a good time.
Is there a launch or release date for the Empire?
It's currently in September.
Okay.
It was in March, but I moved it back because I have some people involved that needed some more time.
There you go.
But it's
that's important sometimes. Yeah, it's good to set it back.
Yeah, so
it's dope, man.
That's been my main concentration as far as events. This year, I have a Porter Mayberry. He's in a movie that comes out the end of March.
Yeah, shout out to Porter, man.
Shout out to Porter Mayberry.
Called Slamma Jamma.
What is it called?
It's called Slamma Jamma.
Slamma Jamma.
It'll be here in Indianapolis, in I think 6 theaters here.
Oh, nice.
It's in over 500 theaters across the United States.
Okay.
So we've been supporting him. We're all the family. So all the people that I manage, we all are pretty much like a big family. We support each other.
Right.
So that's the thing that I think is pretty unique about us. And that's one thing that I love is that it's not we're not in competition with each other.
Which you shouldn't be. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Even if y'all doing the same thing, everybody should support each other. That should be a must, mandatory.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So so that's pretty much my vision for this year is to just pretty much go and preach and teach to as many people as I possibly can how to get their credit together. Even if they don't join the Millionaires Credit Club, it's fine.
MillionairesCreditClub.com.
Yeah, even if they don't join, that's fine. I just challenge them to at least figure out where they are and how to get to where they should be.
Right.
And people say, I don't care about credit. I mean, but when you go get a car, that's based on credit. When you go get a house, that's
everything is based on credit.
Everything
that you dream that you want to have is,
everything's based on credit. So I remember after he went through the program and he went to a store and he got a credit card, he's like, man, I ain't used to just getting instant credit like that. Like that's powerful.
It's beautiful.
It is, man. Yeah. Or just say for instance, him, he had the money, but when you can go to a Best Buy or you could go to a Sam Ash and you can get DJ equipment 6 months same as cash, it helps you.
Absolutely. Explain the same to cash. People don't know what the same to cash is. Same to cash is a big deal.
6 months same as cash is when I can pay it over 6 months.
No interest.
Instead of me giving you all my money today, I can just pay it over 6 months.
Sometimes they have 2 years.
Yeah.
2 years
or 6 years.
Best Buy sometimes has 2 years.
Most of the time it is 24 months.
Yeah, Sam
I'm not paying high interest. I don't have to give you my money today. I can just spread it out over 6 months. But you're gonna give me the product.
Right.
But you can only get 6 months or 2 years or 3 years, same as cash with good credit.
I take advantage of that all the time. You know?
Absolutely.
People always ask me like, man, how you get the DJ equipment so fast?
Right.
I got good credit.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like I go in there and.
It's a big deal, man.
And technology, as you know, changes all the time.
All the time.
Right.
So so I kindly text her and I was like, "Hey, you supposed to be paying down your credit cards, not in Louis Vuitton buying a new $2,000 purse."
Uh-oh.
So she was like, "Oh, yeah, you're right. I'm gonna get out of here." But saying all
that on Facebook?
saying all that to say is that a lot of times our success is limited because we don't want to be held accountable.
Right.
So when we don't. Because, people on social media and our family, they only know what we let them know. They don't know our credit score. They don't know our credit cards are to the limit.
Right.
They don't know we have late
All they
pays.
see is what you're doing.
Yeah, they only see what you allow them to see. They see the car, but they don't know you driving the car, but you at the 24% interest rate.
Absolutely.
So they don't know that. But when you allow someone like myself or another company or someone and they hold you accountable for your actions, that to me that helps you, because a lot of us don't want that. And a lot of us, we need it. We need someone to look us. We need to be able to look in the mirror, somebody to tell us, hey, you shouldn't be going out on that trip. You should be trying to pay these cars down.
Absolutely.
Or hey, it's time for you to,
it's a sacrifice.
It's
you know what I'm saying?
Like my brother. My brother has kids. I told him, I said, hey, it's time for you to start preparing to buy your family a house.
Absolutely.
You need a house.
Right.
So you can't keep renting for the rest of your life.
Man.
You need a house.
Come on,
so,
tell them.
Yeah, so, but
build equity.
you have
much money
to
wasted.
be able to push people in that direction.
Right. And they had to take baby steps. I know we passionate
It's
and
a
we getting hype
process,
about it, but y'all don't
It's a
understand
process.
that once you taste the light, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Once you get up there and realize that you've been paying too much on everything, you know what I'm saying? It becomes something that you want to continue to do. So get to that point.
And
you know
it's
what
a
I'm
process, and you didn't get there overnight, and you can't get
saying?
out overnight.
Right. It's
So
gonna
it's
take
a
some
process,
time.
yeah.
Some people take 6 months. It really just depends on what's on your credit,
Depends
right?
on the situation, but
Right.
at least start working on it. Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Got a question, man, for Cash.
Yeah.
So,
We come from pretty much the same hood, right?
yeah, we do.
Do you think, looking at yourself and other people like the mind, us, do you think it's our duty to go back and teach people that are in those environments?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. You gotta do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you always gotta teach somebody. I always mentor somebody. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? On DJing or just life experiences on like out of most of my friends, I was the first one to kinda have a kid. You know what I'm saying? So I feel I always been a good father, and I feel like that rubbed off on them. Like I'm not even hanging around nobody that don't even take care of their kids. You know what I'm saying?
man.
Like for real.
That's
So
good.
You
That's
definitely,
good.
man. We definitely gotta always
Right.
teach people, man, and let people know what's going on and how you got to where you got to. Because, like you said, man, I do it all the time, bro.
Yeah.
For real.
What made you what inspired you, man, to say, you know what, I want better for myself?
Man, just man, I don't know, man. I guess me, like I said, I had a kid young.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean. Like I haven't had a job since I was 20. I'm 33 now. So
Early motivation.
yeah. So
Yeah.
You know what I mean. So I think it was my kid mostly that made me, that motivated me. You know what I'm saying? Which I had a pretty good upbringing. You know, we was always financially in a good place. So I wasn't really, you know what I mean, never really had to struggle or nothing like that.
Yeah, good
you know
support
what
and
I'm saying?
structure,
Yeah,
right?
I always had good support. You
That's
know?
awesome.
Yeah.
Father was always there. Mom was there. You know what I'm saying? So,
That's what's up.
But I don't know, man. It was just I just always wanted more. You know what I'm saying? I do see my parents had nice stuff, but I wanted better than that. You know what I'm saying? And I wanted, like, my dream is to really, really buy my mom a house.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? Like if that's what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna buy her a house before I buy myself a house.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
that's
awesome,
So,
man. Shout out to Miss Toliver.
Yeah. Osborne.
She got remarried.
Sorry. Shout out to Miss Osborne.
Oops.
Mama Cash though. That's
Mama
for
Cash.
real.
What's up, man? And
That's my biggest supporter, man.
that's your
mom.
biggest
Yeah,
support. Shout out
man.
to moms.
Yeah.
Shout out to moms.
Yeah.
For real.
You you're approachable. You know what I'm saying?
Always.
I think a lot of artists in this city are somewhat intimidated sometimes by the DJs because they feel like, well, I'm just gonna say this: a lot of DJs in this city don't reach back out. How do they reach you, and how do they get in contact with you in order to get their music played?
It's sometimes it's just all about how the artists do it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
It's about
How should they do it?
Yeah, man.
yeah,
How
man,
they package it
I
and
think
everything.
a lot of artists wants the DJ to do the work for them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I get that all the time. Like, hey, bro, how can I, like, what have you did besides, like, some people come in the club like, bro, I just recorded this one today. You got to play it. Like, what? You know
Hey, they want you
saying?
to test the market first.
You get so many distasteful people, it kind of pushes you away from everybody because it's like
Right.
sometimes, you know what I'm saying? There's certain people that approach you the right way, and
Right.
you be like, man, I got to really check dude out. You know what I'm saying? I see
Right.
dude working on his own. I more want to see you working on your own. And
Yeah.
a lot of music, like, music will find you.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't
right.
have to, a lot of people, you ain't, it's been plenty of songs that have been out there, and I'm like, I gotta go find this song. Like, I'm
Right.
late on it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Because you see the people putting in the work.
Yeah.
It ain't always
Right.
about giving it to the DJ. Like,
Right.
social media is so crazy now. I don't even think you even need a DJ.
Right. Right.
You know
I
what
mean,
I
the
mean?
music industry is changing because
Yeah.
everything is being streamed now,
Yeah,
and
it's
people are
digital.
utilize like Future. I mean, dropping two albums out within a month.
Right.
That's unheard of.
That's crazy.
That's crazy because people like wait 6 to 8 months, almost a year. Some people drop one album a year. You know what I'm saying? And he's dropping like 2 albums in a month. That tells you that the game is changing right now.
Yeah.
So what are some of the artists that's on your radar? Like whether it's locally or whether it's globally. You know, who are some of your favorites?
Some of my favorites on the global level is Drake. Fab is one of my favorite artists. That's crazy. Me and AJ just talked about this today.
Yeah.
Big Sean. Well, who else? I mean, really Drake, Fab, Big Sean. I like Meek Mill a lot. And who else? I mean, of course, Jay-Z. It's given.
Right. Right.
But I recently got into Nick Grant.
Nick
Y'all
Grant.
heard of Nick
I've
Grant?
never heard of Nick Grant.
Yeah, Nick Grant's super dope, man.
Right.
I mean, of course, I love J. Cole, man. I really like everybody, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I really, these new dudes. You know what I'm saying? I understand them now. You know what I'm saying? Because
like Dave
like
East?
a lot of people like, oh, this
Lil
music's
Uzi,
trash,
yeah.
it's trash.
Yeah.
But we have to learn how to accept it because that's the same thing our parents said with the artists that we love.
Oh yeah,
Right.
all day.
You know what I'm saying? So
All
it's just
day, yeah.
the times is just changing. So the
Right.
kids, they starting to love these artists too.
Right. Like
You know
Lil
what I'm
Uzi
saying?
and
Yeah.
Lil Yachty and
Yeah.
Nah, man,
Crazy
I
names.
can't get
They
into that.
crazy names, man.
I can't
Crazy
get into that,
names,
man. They
man.
love it.
I mean, I can't get into them. You know what I'm saying? But
they get played so much though. I be like, man, this is trash. But by like the next week, they didn't play it so much.
they ain't played it so
I'm
much.
like,
know
oh
every
man,
word.
this is all right. Okay,
Yeah, but
I
it's-
can get into it.
On the local scene, man, I like Brand. I like Miles and Dominique. I think AJ working with them.
Shout out to Miles
Okay.
and Dominique.
yeah,
Miles and
them
Dominique.
homies,
Yeah, is that their stage name?
I don't know if they got a group name. They got a group name? Nah, they just go by Miles and Dominique.
Okay,
And
look
then,
out for them.
Of
Look out
course,
for them.
Debo, man, he's been
Okay,
doing his
Debo.
thing lately.
Yeah, I've been hearing more and more about this. Tell us more about Debo.
I mean, I grew up with Debo.
Okay.
So I know him on a personal level. I know recently he just got out, but he had like a listening party that was at
okay.
Limelight, and I heard it sold out. Like
okay.
Jeezy or somebody was there. So
Wow.
and they was charging $40 to $70
Wow.
to get in. So
Wow.
I think that was kind of big for the city, man.
That's awesome.
for somebody to sell out a
Yeah.
nightclub like that. So
Yeah,
That's
man.
what that's from
without
here.
no major artists, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Yeah. So
And he's from here.
yeah, he's from here.
Wow.
I heard he was like in talks with like getting a deal with somebody too. So I don't know. I, you know what I'm saying? I don't really know
nice.
how
Nice.
personal
That's the
that
next
is,
step.
but,
Go for it,
yeah.
man. Yeah, that's what's up, man. That's what's up.
But shout out to all the local artists, man, doing their thing, man.
How do they reach you?
I mean, social media, of course. My email is DjCashND@gmail.com.
Okay.
They can hit me there. I got it. My website is IamDjCash.com. Twitter is IamDjCash.com. I mean, any of those ways, or if you see me out, I'm approachable. Like I said, man, we can have a conversation and we
Right.
can go from there too.
Right. Don't give him a rock. He might put bust a 3 in your face. Watch out.
Shoot from like half court.
That's all I got now, man. I ain't kind of slowed down.
Hey, man, it's been great having y'all on, man.
We appreciate
Sincerely,
you having us.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, no problem.
appreciate y'all.
The people need to know, and when people are doing great things, you have to, bring them in and let people see, what's going on, and it gives them a chance to really interact with you and talk to you, because they may not be able to get a hold of you, but so maybe this is a platform where they can really reach you, so, and understand who you are. So thank y'all for coming, man. Man. We just want to give some closing remarks. We like to do closing remarks where we just talk back to the viewers and give them some feedback, whether that's promoting your brand, whether that's to get a hold of you. What do you have as closing remarks?
The only thing I would say in closing is that if you have a dream, you just pretty much have to be willing to accept no. You have, as I said, when we open, you have to be willing to accept doors closed in your face, because that's all part of your journey. That's part of the story.
Right.
But you have to have enough faith to know that, whatever you need through the process, that God is going to send you that. And you just have to have faith through the process. So don't give up. You gonna have some dark nights. You gonna have some nights when people that you thought would be there and not there, but you just pretty much have to continue to keep going, and He will send you everything that you need. So I want to be a testament that people will talk about you, people will give up on you, you'll make some mistakes. You might not always, make the right choices, but it always works out in the end, and you just have to keep going. You can't give up. You can't give up.
Right. Yeah. Awesome, man. Cash.
Definitely, man, don't give up, man. I was in, a situation a couple years ago with the bribery thing, and it kind of put me all the way down. And a lot of people didn't think I can come back from it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people turned their back on me, didn't want to work with me anymore. And,
and that was something that wasn't even your fault. But
yeah, it wasn't even my fault. You know what I'm saying? It's something I worked hard for, and they tore it down like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? With the snap of a finger, and
and
I'm back here. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm still you know what I mean, at the top of the game as far as,
there you go.
What we got going on. So, man, definitely to piggyback off what he said, man, don't give up, man, and you know what I mean, and just stay focused, man. Level up all the time. That's
Icon coming soon.
Icon definitely coming soon, man. It's gonna be crazy, man.
I'm ready to see what this look like.
Man. It's gonna be dope, man. The concept is super duper dope, man. As far as Icon, man, which y'all see soon. So
okay,
yeah, man, we'll be there. Okay.
That's what's up. P. Wells, let's go.
And we gonna definitely make y'all put some clothes on, man. It's not one of them places where
that's good.
That's good. Like, you gonna have, you for real. You definitely have to put some clothes on. I'm not saying it's gonna be like a strict dress code where it's hard bottoms, but you got to put some effort in what you got on. You know
absolutely. That's important, man. You know what I'm saying? We got to get back to that. So you giving it a 90s feel again. You taking them back a little bit. We gonna have to dress up a little bit.
We gonna clean it up. Okay. Man. Especially for the people I cater to, man.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
That's dope, man.
Okay.
Hey, man, I appreciate both of y'all, man. Both of y'all, man, for coming in, man, dropping some jewels, man. And shout out to our viewers. Hope that everyone learned a whole lot, man. And, just understand that we are all connected, man. And, we shouldn't doubt. And if you do doubt, just understand that, you got to keep going. Always pursue your dreams. Be humble. If you don't know anything, just ask questions, man. Right. And those answers, man, will come. And just always be nice to people, because you never know who that person is.
Right.
Period.
Definitely.
Right. There it is, man. Closing it up. Like Pat said, man, thank y'all for coming. This is always a pleasure for me, man, because I just want this to be we want this to be a voice for people to be able to come in and not feel obligated or pressured by anything. They can just come in and be themselves and talk to the people and drop knowledge. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's about. We gotta spread what we know more and give other people the keys. That's what leadership is all about. We can't hang on to them forever. We got to build up the people around us. So if you're out there listening, don't think about just yourself. Think about the team and the people around you, because at the end of the day, if you're wearing a hat and you got an army of 10 people, y'all not going to move unless you're doing the right thing and building those people up around you too. So I'm going to leave y'all with that. And like Pat said, thanks to the viewers for always holding us down, man. We're growing real fast, and we couldn't do it. We cannot do it without the viewers and the guests who constantly share our feeds and support the great area. So just continue doing that. Keep shouting us out. We love y'all, and we'll be dropping the next segment alert real soon. Peace.
Peace.
Twitter and Instagram at The Gray Area Media. Please visit our website at www.thegreatareamedialive.com. Thank you.